going on, everyone? Today we're going to change out the shifter on my CRX. The unit I'm going to test out today, it's this particular model right here. It's made by a company called Jackspania Racing. They reached out to me and asked if I wanted to test it out, and I was intrigued. I had never seen a shifter of this nature before they reached out to me. I had to go online and look a couple up. Seems really cool. This mount bolts up to the exhaust / shifter tunnel. This actually has the 4 holes right here which bolt up to the mount. This connects to your linkage, and it now eliminates the stabilizer bar. I'm going to set it up with the next to new Hasport shift linkage. Good friend Andrew donated this to me when his stabilizer bar came loose and it bent it at the track, so we'll be throwing that on at the same time with the shifter. For those of you that may need a little help, if you're trying to remove the shift linkage on a B series or even D series engine, it's always going to have a little 12mm bolt which is holding the stabilizer bar to the transmission. You're going to have this retaining clip which is just pressed on the end of the linkage. You need to get that off, and once you do, you have the pin here. A lot of people call this the bitch pin because it's difficult to get out. I end up using, this bolt has worked for me perfectly over the years. I used to put pliers here, put at the bottom of it, and I hammers it straight through. It's like a perfect diameter for me. I have 0 issues with it. That's how you get the front of the linkage removed. For the rear, you just have 2 12mm bolts holding on your bushing. Yours is probably going to be rubber if you've never upgraded it, with a little metal plate on top of it. And this thing basically sandwiches around here and it bolts up to the bottom of the car. What I had to also do was disassemble my shifter because it's really high and this piece won't fit. Well, it wouldn't have fit through the little area where the exhaust tunnel is, because when you're trying to bend it through, the shorter this is, the easier it is to get off the car without having to drop the exhaust. The whole reason I went ahead and removed the top portion of the shifter. Use of this shifter does require aftermarket motor mounts. Using stock mounts, it says it can potentially pop out of gear when driving. I don't know the recommended durometer. I'm using the softest Hasport. I'll see if it becomes an issue, and if it does, I'll leave an updated remark in either the comments or the description. Being unsure how the mount goes, I have it mounted with the opening in the front first. This actually seems appropriate. The shifter sits in the center of the hole. Just for sake of testing, I'm going to flip it around and just see where the shifter lines up. With the mount flipped around, see how much farther it moves the shifter forward. So we're going to flip it back around, and that's the way we're going to mount it. Another thing that's nice, it has a removable Allen head bolt right here. Then you can slide out the piece which connects to the linkage. What I'll be able to do is still, even though it's a little bit larger, I'll probably just squeeze it on here. And I should be able to still retain using the stock boot. I have the front shift linkage hooked up, and I have the mount bolted up, all 4, and also the linkage already connected to the shifter. Now, I was able to get all of this without removing my exhaust. It's a little bit difficult, it's a little cramped, but you're still able to do so. Even sliding the bolt through for the linkage to the shifter and then tightening it up. I added some Loctite on everything, even though there's nylocks on the nuts. I just wanted to overdo it, that way I don't have any chance of those vibrating loose and backing out. I was looking, there's still a little bit of play, but that's just, I think, the shifter moves itself right there. Looking at this, you know, there's a little bit of play here. I could probably benefit from maybe even a no-slop shifter joint, or maybe a linkage pin. The pins seem to be fine, it's tight, but there obviously still is a little bit of movement. It's not much, but it's always nice to try to eliminate as much of that as possible. If you're curious on the center console, yes, I was able to I put it on sideways and kind of spun it and pushed it in. It is catching if I push it all the way in right here so the reverse lockout doesn't spring. I could probably notch this if I needed to. I had plans of potentially just removing like everything under the dash here anyway. Whether or not I do that, I'm not sure, but I just wanted to show you for reasons of the video if you're curious if it fits on this particular model of car. Here's a look from inside the cabin with the setup. Of course, you have first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Very quick, very crisp, precise shifts. It feels really nice. I love it. It has these little adjustment rods right here on the base. What these are for, I think essentially for this side, you have this little button on top which slides the pin in or out. So it'll be like a fifth gear or reverse lockout. You can use it for either one. And then, say right here, you see how it kind of stops it. It doesn't allow it to go any farther, not that we need it to. That way it's precisely where it needs to be for fifth gear and also for first. Like when I slide over this way, you can see there's less room on this side. Maybe that just has something to do with how and where it's mounted and also in relation to the linkage on the transmission itself, but really like the position of it. My steering wheel will be right here, so it's actually a very quick grab and it's not far from it at all. And that pretty much concludes the video for today, guys. Hope you like the install, hope you like the product. I'm a big fan, I love the way it feels. Drove it up and down the street. Just as I was showing you earlier, it's super crisp, super precise, the throws on it. I like the adjustability of the fifth/reverse gear lockout. That's a nice feature. I think the only con may be the fact that you have to drill into your exhaust tunnel. Some people may not be wanting to do that depending on the condition or what the vehicle is used for. Price point is fair, $250. There's a coupon code I've added in the description you can use if you're interested in purchasing one. Save a little bit on it, but overall I really like the product. I'm excited to get to the track and use it there. I'm hoping this shifter just provides a permanent solution to any other shifters I may want to use in the future. Thanks for taking a look, guys. We'll see you soon. Take it easy.